Okay, so be able to write an equation from the table pattern. So that's when we're dealing with y equals mx plus b, where b represents the start, which is 0 comma something, and the m represents the pattern. Okay, so I look and the pattern is plus 3, and this is plus 1, so 3 over 1 is 3. I got m. Now b is the start. It's the y-intercept. So honestly, I think the easiest thing to do is go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 28 minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. There's your b. You could do y equals mx plus b and plug in a point and plug in the slope, but that's ridiculous. So I have my m, I have my b, so my equation is y equals 3x plus 13. Now if I need it in function notation, it would be f of x equals 3x plus 13. 13, okay? So just be careful of those types of things. All right. So Frank wants to buy backpacks. He charges $9 per backpack, and he's got 50 bucks. So how many backpacks can he get? We know automatically he can only get 5 backpacks, because 9 times 5 is 45, and if he got 6, that'd be too much. So the most amount of backpacks he can get is 5, which means what are his options? He can either get 0 backpacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 backpacks. Could he get a half a backpack? No. Okay, could he get a third of a backpack? No. So it's got to be a whole number. So let me go back over here and say that's what is a whole number. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dot, dot, dot. Just positive numbers. Now an integer is all the negative numbers that are whole numbers to the positive numbers. Okay? A real number is any number that you can fathom as real. -3/4, pi, 0, 5.632 with a hat on top, okay? And keep in mind, I'm saying these words because you probably need to know the difference between them to answer some of these questions. A multiple means anything that you can multiply to get it. So a multiple of 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, because they multiply. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3. That's the multiple of 3's. Okay? So they want the domain and the range. The domain is the x, and the range is the y. The domain is what you need to have in order to even get what you want. So what is it you've got to have? Okay? You've got to have backpacks. Okay? Because if I don't know how many backpacks I need, then I don't know how much money I'm going to spend. If I don't know the backpacks I need, I don't know how much money to spend. So I know my options are between 0 and 5. Keep that in mind. Which means if I was expressing it, I could say any whole number between 0 and 5. I could say any integer between 0 and 5. I couldn't say a multiple because they're not multiples. Okay, I could say a multiple of 1, but that's just easier to say it those two ways. And it can't be real numbers because those are all the decimals. Okay, so that's my domain. Any integer from 0 to 5 or any whole number from 0 to 5. Now my range is how much money I'm going to spend. Okay. So I know that I can spend between $0 and $40, okay? Now, I know that I can spend between 0 and 40, but can I spend $3? No, because a backpack is $5, which means I can either spend $5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that means I could spend between 0 and $40 with a multiple of 5. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I went a little bit too fast. The backpacks are $9. So we got to be careful because I messed up. So that means I can either spend $9, $18, $27, $36, up to $45. So let's say it one more time. Oops. I can spend between 0 and $40, but it has to be a multiple of 9 between 0 and 50. Mixing up my numbers. This is a perfect example of why you want to go slowly. Because I obviously know what I'm doing, but I saw 4s and 5s, and I got a little mixed up in my head. So domain, between 0 and 5. whole number or integer between 0 and 5. Range is your money between 0 and $50 with a multiple of 9. Okay? All right. Number 3, they want to know after 5 days. So obviously I'm going to find the pattern. Times 3 times 3. So 36 times 3 is 108. 108 times 3 is 324. And then 324 times 3 is 972. So on the 5th day, I'll spend $972. Okay? I'm going to double check that with a calculator just to make sure. Times 3 times 3. Let me make sure. I think I'm good. Okay? Make sure you show work on the test. All right. So there's a couple different ways that I could do this, but I think the easiest for you guys is you guys are used to graphing like y equals mx plus b. So if I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form, that means this has got to go away, this has got to go away, and this has got to go away because it's got to say y equals. So I'm going to move the number first because I feel like it. I'm going to move the x next because I feel like it. And, well, I feel like it because if I move the 2, then I'm going to be dividing, and I don't want to divide until the very end. So now I divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Y equals 3/2 x minus 3. There's my equation in slope-intercept form. This represents my start, 1, 2, 3, negative 3. Then you either go up and right or down and right. But since this is positive, I go up and right. If it was negative, I would go down and right. So I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 2, 1, 2. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 2. Got to make it perfect. You can't fake it. But I can't go any more that way, and I can't go any more that way. Now I am good. Let me be clear. If you just go like this and go bleh, it's wrong. You've got to show me every possible point that you could get. Okay, next problem. Take the negative 3, plug it in for x. So there's a negative there. That's a little scary. So I'm going to go negative 1 times negative 3 cubed plus 2 times negative 3 squared minus negative 3 minus 5. Okay? Negative 3 cubed is negative 27. Make sure you're showing me work. If you just plug that straight into the calculator and get the answer, you're just telling me that you're only as good as a calculator, and you're better than that. So negative 1 times negative 27 is positive 27. Negative 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18. A negative and a negative make a positive. And now I just go straight across. 27 plus 18 is 45, plus 3 minus 5, 48 minus 5, 43. Okay? Now, I'd actually mark that wrong. The reason I'm going to mark it wrong is I don't know what's 43. So that is wrong. It is f of negative 3 equals 43. Okay? All right. Write the equation. I need two things for an equation. I need m and I need b. Remember, b is my start, so I start here at 2. Now I'm either going to go up and right to get to the next point, or down and right. But if I go up and right, that's not going to give me anything, which means down and right is the way I have to go. It has to be negative. Down 1 works right here. So down 1, right 2. Okay? Now, I would like to point out, if you want to, you could have gone down 2 and right 4. But if you go negative 2 over 4, you better simplify it to negative 1/2. Therefore, the equation is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. All right, next page. Write an equation that's parallel. Parallel means same slope. Dump the rest. Do y equals mx plus b. Plug in your y, negative 3. Plug in your m, 1/2. Plug in your 8, or your x. Half of 8 is 4, but it's a negative. Add 4. Always do the opposite. Now don't forget, they want an equation. They don't want b. They want an equation. So y equals mx plus b. If you want to make sure that you're right, plug in negative 8 and negative 3. Half of negative 8 is negative 4, plus 1 is negative 3. So you did it right. Okay? Domain and range. Domain, you need it in set and interval. So the domain and the range. Set notation is easiest for me, and a line is easiest for me. Everything to the right, everything to the left, all real numbers. Oof. And then in interval notation, negative infinity to positive infinity. Range is everything up, everything down. All lines are all real numbers. Hope that one's on the quiz for you. Okay. That one is a little bit easier. Let's slow down for this one. Domain is everything to the left and everything to the right. Well, it's pointing to the left and pointing to the right. All real numbers. Negative infinity to positive infinity. The range is everything up and everything down. But the problem is it's only pointing up, greater than. The range is y. Well, it starts somewhere. It starts right here and goes up. What's that number? Negative 4. In interval notation, that means I include negative 4 all the way to positive infinity because it's going up. I'd like to point out that if this same question was like this, but it was at negative 4 and down, let me move that up, so it's the same thing but negative 4. This would be y down less than negative 4, which means this time it would be always smallest to biggest, negative infinity to negative 4, brackets because it's included. Careful. All right, circle. It doesn't have any forevers, so I can't do any all real number stuff. Domain is everything to the left and everything to the right. It starts here on the left at negative 1 and goes all the way, looks like 7. It's x, and it's between that, okay? I like set notation for this one. I mean interval notation for this one, because boom, I'm done. Range is everything up and everything down. Here's the down, negative 9. Here's the up, positive 1. Y, less. Interval notation, negative 9, 1. Okay? All right, this time what you have to do is draw a picture. Domain means everything to the left and everything to the right, all real numbers. So it's going to be left and right, pointing something. The range is only down. So that means that instead of these things going just left and right, they're going down. And where does it start? At my y value of negative 2. So it's going to start there. So I'm going to start it right here and make it go down. I could even do this. I could start it right here and make it go like this. That's also another possible answer. But I can't make it go up. In interval notation, that's negative infinity to positive infinity. And then in interval notation from here, it's negative infinity to negative 2 included. Okay? If you want to do an equation, this will be bonus. Okay? And this one's just really hard. But if you remember, you know it's an absolute value equation. You haven't really learned about transformations yet, but you know that if it's y, it's going to go down here. And honestly, this one's hard, but 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, it would be minus 4. It's bonus. I got to put it in there. All right, last one. Tile patterns. Figure 2 has 11. Figure 7 has 26. I'm going to find my m and my b. Y equals. So I don't know my start right now. I'm too lazy to do a table, but I see the pattern here is plus 15, and the pattern here is plus 5. 15 over 5 equals 3. So I got my m. You could do a table where you could go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then figure it out from there, but it's just not easy for me. Then I'm going to go y equals mx plus b. I'll pick this point and this slope, plug it in. There isn't one way to do this problem, so if you want to know if your answer is correct, as long as you get the same thing as me, you're good to go. Now you feel like it's y equals 3x plus 5, but that's wrong because it says how many tiles n are there. So instead of using x, I have to use n. And as soon as it says function, I need to do f of. Now it's not f of x because I'm using n, so it's f of n. Good luck.